The name of the game today is Battle of the Bait Balls. And I've come out with a good mate of mine, Pete Morris, who wants to get some drags into gear, some rods bent. We're off the waters of Fraser Island today. There's bunches of bait balls cruising around and there's a host of pelagics that are in there chasing them. We've come armed with a variety of metal jigs. We've also got soft plastics on board. So it gives us a very versatile approach to try and target wherever those fish might be feeding in the water column. Up to us to work it out. But before we came, we headed to the Pure Fishing Factory and we've come armed for battle, mate. We've got the Regiment rods from Penn. We've also got the Penn Conflicts, which is a great addition to the thread-line range that Pure Fishing offer today. And the boys said, Nige and Pete, we know you're good at breaking things. Get out there and see how you go. So, mate,
let's break one.
It's a new day. We've got to go and test them. I reckon the birds are heading that way. Let's go. Had a little bit of that bird activity and we decided to get a slug down deep underneath just to see what might be lurking. And there's a mackerel about to wake up. There's mackerel under us here, Pete. Drop a slug down, mate.
Onto it.
Beautiful. There's a benefit sometimes of working a bait ball, not just in terms of what you can actually see, what's maybe happening underneath the water. I think a really good lesson when you start chasing pelagics around bait is to start learning what different surface expressions different fish have. And also the activity of the birds on different fish. You'll find that different types of birds will follow different pelagics. You'll also find the way birds behave above bait will sometimes tell you what fish might be feeding on it. In terms of, they don't like diving in when they're sharp-toothed critters. That's how you see the odd seagull running around with one leg. They'll much happily dive into mac tuna differently. And Pete's onto a fish up the front there. Beautiful, spotty mackerel. So we came here for, Pete.
I just did exactly what Nigel just said and jigged that metal underneath the bait school and hooked another spotty. Actually, it's a little school mackerel.
There you go. We've slightly adapted our micro jigs. We started jigging for golden trevally this morning and whatever predators we might find in the deep, and we had no joy, so we thought, well, let's adapt our micro jigs, put some trebles on the back and go and chase some sharpy tooth ones, and plan's paying off. And that's the benefit of having a versatile lure in the box. Like a metal, it means they can be fished so many different ways. Let's get them on board, mate.
Let's get them in. There's a little school mackerel. I'll dump him and help Nige.
This is safe to tail fish like mackerel when they are sufficiently tired. If in doubt, I'd say always gaff them, but if you've done it enough, you grab them. When you grab that tail, hold tight. And the benefit of obviously tailing a fish is that you're not damaging the flesh by putting a gaff hole through it. Well, mate, we came to do battle. The regiment is slowly getting put to the test. We're doing a bit of high-speed casting and retrieving at the moment, but these are the first few bites of the day and we're still early, so we're starting to crack a bit of a pattern and it's a good one. All right, mate, let's get him back in the water and get out of here. Big part of catching these fish is trying to cast a lure as far and as accurately as possible, and certainly helps having the right outfit that's well balanced to the lure weight you want to use. And from there, hand position and how you use the rod in the air make a big difference to how and where you cast the lure. I like to have my dominant hand just sitting above the reel. Bring your bail arm around, not choking the line against the rod, just keep your forefinger so it's just pinning that line in place. Then left hand right down the bottom. It helps if you've got a rod with a bit of extension on the butt, gives you that extra leverage. And then want to get that rod moving in the direction that I want to put the lure. Keep that rod in a straight arc as you let it go, 45 degrees, release the forefinger. Put a bit of oomph into it. You can cast these things an absolute mile. When you're chasing these high-speed pelagics, it's imperative you have your smooth drag systems. We're well and truly going to try and put these Penn Conflicts to the acid test and see what they got with regards to drag. And that's what you want. You don't want a drag that's clinking and just missing bits and pieces and adding a bit of hardness to the end of the fight. You want that smoothness just to let a fish run without damaging the hook hole that they've got in their mouth and without them pulling hooks. There we go. They do grow a lot bigger than this. They're a magnificent sporting fish designed for speed, super sharp teeth. I'll get this guy back in the water.
Well done, Nige.
Oh yeah, got him. That's a tube. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Just casted a big pack of tuna, feeding under some birds. And this is going to test our drag out. He's just going to slowly power himself away a long way. We might even have to chase him here. I'm fishing a light outfit. We've got a range of the pen regiments on board today in terms of the rods we're using, just because we didn't really know what we're in for when we got out here in terms of the type of species we might come across and the nature of the fishing. So we've got everything from 4 to 7 kilo rods, 6 to 10, and a bit of a bigger bertha at 8 to 12 kilos, which means we can probably handle most things that this part of the world's going to throw at us. They're all loaded up with pen conflicts. We've got 4,000 and 5,000 size reels. They just balance these outfits out very well. The braids are matched up with 20, 30 and 40 pound leaders, which is a pretty good coverage for what we're going to play with here. That's really the benefit in having these fast, medium fast tapered rods. They give you that action with plenty of shock absorption in the top end of the rod, but you've still got plenty of authority down the bottom. They're very lightweight, which means you're not fighting a rod, you're fighting the fish. So it preserves you a little bit. They come really lightweight, full of sensitive componentry, lightweight guides, super tough to handle that high-speed casting and retrieving, and these beautiful grips, mixture of cork and rubber. Very lightweight, but transfer everything that's coming through the rod, which is ideally what you want in a good spin rod. We've got a big Mac tuna, a beasts of fish, very powerful. They're going to make you work for the capture. That's what we're doing here. We said it was going to be about battle. We're battling, Pete. You can break graphite rods by what we call high sticking, lifting them too vertical, which challenges the curvature of them, so you want to be mindful of that if you do own graphite rods. Like I said, we've been challenged to see if Pete and I can break stuff today. We're certainly doing our best. We're using a range of jigs. Well, we've got a range of jigs on board at the moment. We're using these micro-jigs, and they represent really what a lot of people are familiar with as a knife jig. So very darting, erratic action as they fall, and then you can work them a number of ways when they come up. Out of the packet, they come with an assist hook, which makes them a lot more snag resistant. If you want to adapt them though, as we are at the moment, we're putting a treble on the back to prevent those bite-offs from sharper tooth critters. So they are a very versatile style of lure and beautiful to use in a range of scenarios, as good on the reef fish as they are on the pelagics, and perfect with the sort of spin gear we're using now. This is a fast and aggressive style of jigging, but there's also other options out there, Pete.
They're two of Berkeley's new jigs in their range, and there's a slow-mo with a blade that's designed to work very slowly, and the Squiddo, which is again a fluttering jig that will hit the bottom, and it actually comes with a small little owner spring inside, which you can attach a plastic to, like a jerk shad or a jigging grub, and the action of that is slow, where you just lift it and raise it off the bottom, and the skirts on the Squiddo will do a lot of the action for you.
And once again, Pete, we've obviously come prepared. We've got a range of jigs that are going to let us fish to whatever mood we think the fish are in, slow retrieves, fast retrieves. I think if you like targeting and fishing a variety of ways, you can do worse than getting out there and looking at the micro jig range and complement them with some great quality spin outfits in that light, medium or heavy range, and you're going to be in there having a whole lot of fun. And speaking of that, I reckon it's about time we got out and had a bit more fun, Pete, because I reckon there's a big bust up of birds that I can hear in the distance. The tree, when you're jigging these micro jigs, you've got predators close to the bottom like we've got at the moment. Cast ahead of the boat. We're in 15 metres of water at the moment. Watch your braided line, let it go to bottom. As it hits the bottom, that braid will slacken. Rip it about 5-6 metres up off the bottom. Pause, keep the line tight, let it go back to bottom. And very often, your bites will happen as you start to rip it up. But keep in mind that sometimes they'll grab it as it's heading on back down to bottom as well. So it's really important you keep your line tight throughout as much of the retrieve as possible, just so you're connected to try and set that hook as soon as something eats it.
Good spotting, Nige, on the sounder.
Yeah, we did jig that one. We started seeing a little bit of bait popping up. The birds have all gone quiet. So we marked a bit of bait and a few arches sitting around it. So with wind pushing us onto the spot, we cast ahead and we're just hopping these off the bottom and giving them a quick little 3 or 4 metre rip up and then letting them go back to bottom.
They're doing funny things, eh, today? They're not fighting on the initial take. There's that single hook, pinned him straight in the jaw again.
Beautiful and magnificent fish, aren't they? Obviously a lot bigger than this. This is the start of the run, and as the season goes on, they'll get bigger and bigger. And using the same techniques, just start tussling with bigger ones. Beautiful. Good work, Pete. Oh, yep, gotcha. Oh, that's better. Might be a schoolie there. There you go. They're all lined up. Just a case of, just because they're not on the surface, gone deep doesn't mean you can't catch them. You just got to change your approach sometimes, and away you go. Still got drags going and rods are bending. Beautiful. They're well and truly working these jigs over. If you've got any doubt that the braid jigs work, check out the tooth marks and the destruction on that thing. It has been well and truly chewed at by a range of predators. I can see it. Work, Pete. Oh. That's the one. Lovely. Very nice. Good work, Pete. What a day in the water. Bait ball mayhem, predator mayhem. Mate, the northerlies starting to pick up. I've just seen all the pro fishermen head back to the harbour. It probably tells us something's about to come up. My arms are sore, mate. We had fun with a variety of species.
Fun, mate.
We tested out the drags, put the regiments to the test. Mark Huskin, thumbs up from us. We haven't destroyed anything, we've done well. It means it must be robust, as well as beautiful to use. And I'll certainly be coming back with micro jigs in the box next time.
It's Bill Klassen here from The Fishing Show, and if you like this instructional video and want to learn more, it's simple. Go to fishingshowtv.com.au and see a whole host of additional videos.